Hey guys, welcome to Life with 18 Cats, the first live Let's Chat. Yes, so usually I just sit down with you guys in a Let's Chat and grab a cup of coffee and just chat with you guys. And today's not going to be really any different. We're going to do basically the same thing. The only difference is today we're live. And we have a guest who I'm going to be introducing shortly. And I get to chat with you guys as well. So this ought to be really fun. I'm really excited about this. And I'm really happy to see everybody here right now. So all that being said, let's get into the formalities. If you're new here, welcome. Please hit the subscribe button. Please turn on the notifications so you get notified every time we have a live stream or we do up a little kitty video. And give us a thumbs up if you like what you see. And for sure, give us a thumbs up on, on the live stream. So all that being said, let's check in with chat and see how everybody's doing, because I'm dying to know how everybody's doing this morning. Jenna, how's everybody doing?
Hi, Kim. We have quite a few people in here. I'll put up some chats for you. Everybody checking in with us here.
Hi, Mary Ellen. How are you? Nice to see you in here. Thank you for being here. Catitude, lovely to see you. Hi again from Scotland. Allie, thank you for being here, and thank you so much for loving the channel and the kitties. Sadie's with me right now. She's being very snuggly. Just checking out who's in here. Can we grab, let's see. I'm going to grab one if you don't mind, Jenna.
Sure, no problem. I'm just kind of going down the line to make sure everybody gets checked in, but you go right ahead.
Yep. Okay. Randy, there's my roommate, guys. He's not home this weekend. He is off celebrating his birthday. Hi, Randy. Thank you so much for stopping in, hon. I hope you're having a good time.
Want me to take back over, Kim?
Yeah, go ahead. Gertrude, hi, everyone. Hi, Gertrude. How are you doing? Nice to see you here. Thank you for being here with us. King of all dabblers, Frog, how you doing, man? Whitley's words, hi, everyone. Hi, Whitley, how you doing? Catitude, hi to Tear yes. Paper Flower, hi, Kim, I love the new kitty. Yes, it's so fun, and they've all figured out that they can use it. So they're all having fun with it, and they're enjoying it. Happy birthday to Randy. Yes, happy birthday to Randy.
Happy birthday, Randy. Okay, Kim, we're pretty much checked in. If you want to go ahead and take on over.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Jenna, and thank you guys all for being here. I really appreciate it. This is made my first live stream solo, at least on this end. So we're gonna try to get through this with as few missteps as possible. I want to start out by saying we have a guest today, and we're going to be talking about some things that are near and dear to my heart, things that I'm passionate about, and hopefully you guys enjoy learning about. She's a wonderful woman. Her name is Wanda Miller. I'm going to introduce her in a few minutes. I want to share something with you that kind of led me down the path of wanting to have the discussion that we're discussing today. So a lot of you guys know about a little bit about my past. Something that I haven't shared that I'm going to share today because it's important and very relevant to the topic we're going to be diving into. I moved from Minnesota to Missouri 2 years ago. The 6 months prior to me moving down here, I was actually homeless with all 16 cats, because at that time I had 16. I luckily had a job, but I was pretty much hiding out in a hotel room. And when I say hiding out, I was hiding because I had the 16 cats. The hotel knew about 5 of them. Not all 16, because they would have never let me stay there. So my life for 6 months leading up to me moving to Missouri was just anxiety ridden and full of fear, because every day I went to work, I had to be afraid that that was going to be the day that one of the housekeeping or somebody was going to go into my room and find the cats, and I was going to come home to having animal control taking my cats, and there would be nothing I could do about it. I think you all know how I feel about my cats, the fact that my cats have saved my life. And that would have been absolutely just earth-shattering to me if that would have happened. So that's where I was for 6 months before I moved to Missouri, bought the house, and started my new life down here. Yeah, 16 cats in a little hotel room for 6 months. And it was not fun. It was very scary. It was terrifying. Every day I had to, like I said, every day I was living in fear. And it was not fun. And there was nothing I could do about it should that have happened. There would literally be nothing I could do about it because animal control would be doing their job. And there would be nobody to speak up for me and my relationship with my cats because nobody would have cared at that point. So that leads me into one of the reasons why I have Wanda on today, because she is a huge crusader for something called integrated case management. And I'm going to let her do a lot of the talking about that because it's kind of her baby. And she brought this to my attention and made me realize how important of a subject this is. So, Jenny, you want to bring Wanda in here for everybody to meet? Wanda, chat, this is Wanda Miller, a very dear friend of mine. I love this woman very much. She is very passionate. She's very wonderful, and she is just a huge supporter of the channel and me and the cats. Wanda, this is Chat. You want to say hi to everybody?
Hi, everyone in chat. I'm reading the comments, and I'm just amazed at the broad demographics that you have here. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is. So I was just telling everybody about my experience leading up to me moving to Missouri, being homeless with the cats and the fear of losing the cats should anybody find out about my cats. So that leads me into, your passion, which is the integrated case management. And I wanted to let you go ahead and take the reins on that one and kind of explain to everybody a little bit more in detail what the whole point to that is and what the mission is.
Okay, thanks, Kim.
Yeah.
Before I get started, my name is Wanda Miller, and for anyone in the chat or any of the viewers who are vision impaired, I want to just give a description of myself. I am a white woman. I have shoulder length, brownish red hair, and I'm wearing a gray shirt with I have a little pendant on. So I just before I even get started on my background and bio, I just want to give, I'm a big person, big believer in giving appreciation to people that deserve appreciation. I think we should be very mindful and appreciative and grateful of what we have and the people that surround us that are meaningful in our lives. So I just want to give appreciation to Kim and what she's doing. And I'm going to get emotional because this, I've known Kim now for a couple of weeks, and I don't know if we haven't known each other very long, but I am just so impressed with the progress that she's made with this channel, what she's trying to do here, what she's trying to create, and her heart is so good. And I just want everyone to know that, whatever she gets, she does not take it lightly. She's very, very humble about it, but deeply, deeply appreciative. The little video that she did when she received the mics, that was real because she was crying to me about it as well, and there's other things that she could use to help grow her channel that she does. She's like, I don't know if I should ask, so if anyone donates anything to her, please know that it is very much appreciated by her. And she's too humble to say that, but I'm going to say it for her. So that all being said, I am a person of lived experience of homelessness. I also have mental health issues. I have PTSD. I was diagnosed with PTSD. I'm a trauma-impacted individual. I currently live in supported housing, and I am living below the poverty line. And I'm telling everyone this because it's important to understand where I'm coming from on this issue. Like Kim, I had experience being homeless with pets. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to keep mine. I had to have mine surrendered. It was a very traumatic experience. It's a long story, and I won't go into it here because I don't want to take up, the whole show with just what happened to me. But essentially, I had to surrender my pets. When I did that, I had signed paperwork saying that the paperwork that I signed, I thought I was going to be coming back and getting them because I was naive. I didn't realize that it was going to take so long for me to find new housing. And what I actually signed was I signed my animals over to this rescue. So it was devastating. It caused me not to want to have any kind of animals in my life, except I had a betta fish. I refused to get any companion animals like dogs, cats, anything like that until 2020. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later in my involvement with the community cats. But just sort of a little background context, I had a stray cat that came to my door with other cats that I was feeding when I was starting a TNR program. And it was clear that this cat was not a feral cat. This cat was a stray. Someone had dumped him. And he kept hanging around. And he started, when I opened the door, he'd run into my apartment. So I started feeding him indoors. And my friends were like, "Oh, you got a cat now?" I'm like, "No, I don't. I can't do that." And eventually, he wore me down because he knew that he knew I needed this. So I have him now. His name is Rogue. He's been pictured in the advertisements for this stream, and we'll show him. I think I might have a picture or two of him among the colony cats. We have some pictures to show later. So that's been something that I've carried that trauma with me all these years. That happened back in 2012. I carried the trauma of losing those animals all these years and never really knew, just lived with it. Never really thought about it as far as advocacy and how you could advocate around something like that. But I just have to, Linda Moore, famous last words. Yeah, I'm never going to get a cat.
Yep. I agree.
So anyway, I ended up just this past year, I had an opportunity to go to this conference, and the conference was a co-sheltering conference. And I didn't know what co-sheltering was. I had no idea. What is co-sheltering? So I looked into it a little more. I looked into it because it had I think it had a picture of a dog or something. And I was like, oh, it has something to do with animal welfare. So as I'm researching this, it's like co-sheltering it's not a new movement, but it's a movement that has not had a lot of press until now. It's starting to pick up a little momentum. But co-sheltering is essentially what I refer to as integrated case management. So it's the integration of animal welfare and human services. The whole idea is to keep people and pets together through any kind of crisis. The organization.
So basically what you're saying is it's like animal welfare and human services working together rather than each working on an individual basis and not caring about the other.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Yes. And the organization that was holding the conference, their big focus was keeping people and pets together through periods of homelessness. But that could extend through anything. That could be a natural disaster. That could be a domestic violence situation. It could be any crisis where you find yourself in an unstable housing situation. And I loved the idea. I found out more about it, and I've gotten more and more involved. And then I met a woman. Her name is, I think Kim is going to have her on the show at some point. Her name is Marcia Hollander, Hollander, Hollandер. Sorry, Marcia. Marcia's just going to try to jump on the stream at some point. So if I butchered her name, she can yell at me later. But her and her partner, Al, they are in California. They have an organization, a nonprofit organization called PAW, Partners for Animal Welfare. And what I've been trying to do, I'm living in York, Pennsylvania. And what I've actually been trying to do here is to start my own nonprofit that would integrate case management for people and pets. So that say that someone like my upstairs neighbor, when she wanted to move into here, she has a pit bull that is her emotional support. Mm-hmm. Problem was that the dog wasn't vaccinated. And because the dog wasn't vaccinated, part of the lease is your animals had to be vaccinated. Well, she didn't have any income. I mean, that doesn't seem like a big deal. Okay, you just take them to Petco or Tractor Supply, get a $25 vaccination. But it can be a huge barrier if you have no income.
Exactly.
So what I wanted to do is I wanted to have some kind of case management where if someone's having that problem, they would call on me and go, hey, look, we have someone who we want to house, but we can't house because of this. So I've been struggling with trying to figure out how to start this nonprofit, because it's expensive to start a nonprofit. And through a conversation with Marsa, we have decided to collaborate and pull together our resources. She wants to make Paw national. What Paw does, and I should say what Paw does, is they provide basically they provide vet care for people that are poor, homeless, low income, because vet care is expensive. I mean, everyone knows that. Even if you have a job, it's expensive.
No, there's not very many nonprofits across the nation that have that kind of like help, is there?
I don't think there are some, but I think they're scattered.
And they're not very well like advertised because people don't know about them.
No, and I think the other problem too is money, funding.
Yeah.
So they have to really be particular who they help, because I mean, someone like yourself, right now you're laid off, but when you had your job, I mean, some vet care is, I think,
expensive.
It's expensive, and I think it's becoming worse than even human medicine, because
I agree.
There is pet insurance, but the pet insurance I mean, it's so complicated to try to get.
For somebody like me, that's not even realistic.
Exactly.
Because if you're talking $60 per cat per month, that's not a realistic thing. I mean, especially when if you're not using it, if I'm not having anything, going for 6 months at a time where I'm not using it, then I'm spending that money every month and not getting anything out of it, which is a very huge burden for somebody like me.
Yeah. And that's where this is coming in, that there's this recognition that, and also, well, for myself, I have a cat right now. Actually, it's Rogue. He's the stray that showed up my door that, the famous last words, I'm not going to have this. I'm not going to adopt. Rogue. So a couple weeks ago, Rogue likes to lay on the balcony, and it's usually not a problem. Like, I let him lay on the balcony. I look out, he lays on the balcony. But that particular Sunday, my landlord didn't let everyone know that there was going to be people working in the back. And all I can figure is, I heard the power tools. I ran to go get Rogue in. By that time, he was gone. And I spent, I figured once they left, he'd come back, because that's usually what he'll hide. He'll hide like down in the courtyard somewhere and then come back. And he didn't come back. It was terrifying, to say the least. I was walking around the apartment, like the adjacent blocks, trying to find him, calling his name. He didn't come. That's not like him. When he finally showed up, he was limping. And, I know people in rescue, and I know some like vet tech, so I'm able to get like some, because I don't have the resources to take him to a vet, and I don't have thousands of dollars to get the x-rays and all these other things that they'd want to do to even diagnose him. I mean, he's not in pain. He's doing everything normal. It's just, he's like favoring that leg. I would like to have him get looked at. And this is where that kind of would really help. So I'm kind of in the process of trying to get the money together to get him to get looked at. I talked, like I said, I've talked to some, just to reassure everyone out there. I did talk to some people that do have vet knowledge, and from what they told me, his symptoms they don't seem to be pain inducing. It seems to be more like there's something. It's like when we get a strained muscle. That's what they're thinking, because it's not presenting as anything serious, as a broken leg or anything like that. But still, I want him to be comfortable. So in that circumstance, it would be helpful to have a mobile vet clinic here, but we don't have anything like that. So those are the kind of situations that come up, that, and then there's the people, and Kim has heard this as well. And I know we know other people have lived experience that have also heard the same thing. When people, I know someone that lived, okay, so Kim and I know someone who had lived in a van for several years
Mhm.
before she got housing, and she had 2 dogs with her. And she told us stories of how she had police coming after, knocking on her door and asking her, somebody complained because she had the dogs in the van. Now, she
Wanda,
would,
I'm just gonna tell you, I'm just gonna grab a cat real quick.
okay,
Just keep talking.
okay. So her name's Angie. So Angie was living in the van. She takes very good care of her dogs. She had a situation where she had to run into, I think she ran into a convenience store or something. She left the van on with air conditioning on for the dogs. The police came and told her that you can't do that. That's illegal. And she explained to him, well, this is because I have the dogs in the car and I'm living out of my van. And it's those kind of things that a lot of people, I mean, I didn't think about that. That's something that I would never have thought about. What do we do in a situation where you have someone that's living in a van with a car, and I mean living in a van living in a van with a pet, and there's no, you can't leave your dog or cat at home because that is your home. That van is your home. So we need to have more understanding and compassion for people in those situations. First of all, I want to just go in my soapbox for a second. We shouldn't be in that situation anyway, because I don't see any reason why we can't house people. There's no reason why we can't have those kind of resources available for people so people don't have to be homeless.
Well, you made a good point one day that when we were talking, you had said, they are going to take these animals and they're going to house them in a shelter, give them food that is donated. And there's no reason why they can't make arrangements to have the person keep the animal and just help them with the food. Because what's the options? The options either they're going to house that animal in a shelter by itself, away from its owner, and cause trauma to the animal and the person, or they can find a way to assist the person to keep the animal and help them out with the food that they would already be giving them in the shelter.
Yeah, I think in that that's something that I have to do a little research because I'm not sure if anyone's even thought about that model, but I would love to see a model put together for like SPCA's, humane shelters,
Right.
other rescues, where it's basically limited animal housing. So
Right.
what I mean by that is you have, if you have a circumstance like maybe somebody dies and they have nobody, they were, they had no friends, family. And okay, so in that case, somebody has to take the pet and care for it.
Right.
That would be a situation where a shelter could legitimately take a pet and care for it. But why aren't animal welfare spaces and human services spaces working together to facilitate that, so that if you're in a situation where you have a pet, because right now with Rogue, the only way I could get him vet care would be to surrender him. I'd have to surrender him. He has probably a sprained leg. It's definitely not broken. He lays on it. I mean, just the way he works, he can use it. So he uses, it's just limited movement in it. Why would you do that? Or someone said that their cat had stomatitis. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but
stomatitis. That's what Figaro had, and that's why we had to have all his teeth removed.
Yeah, I know what it is. I just can't pronounce it.
Right, it's a hard one.
And someone in the chat was just talking about that, and why would you? Okay, so the solution is just extract all the teeth.
Yeah.
Why would you have to surrender your pet over when it's a simple extraction? I mean, it's not, extracting teeth is not that difficult. It's like neutering a male cat is not that difficult. And there's been talk of actually having vet techs and other non-vet people trained to do not female spays, because that's more involved, but male neuters are very, very simple. It's like a 15-minute procedure. It's like,
and I hate to liken it to this, but in people terms, it's the same as these days a man going into the clinic to get a vasectomy. It's literally a same day in the clinic procedure. It's not even considered a surgery. It's not as in depth as what the female cats have to go through.
Yeah, exactly. And I really think that well, first of all, on the human services side, we need to really advocate for more pet-friendly housing.
Yes. We do. That's definitely a huge thing.
And not have these stupid requirements like, oh, you have a $500 pet deposit, and on top of that, you're going to have to pay $50 extra every month for pet rent.
Right. Which makes no sense to me, because guaranteed my wear and tear in the house is going to be far more extreme than, my cat's wear and tear in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And the stuff that happens with people sometimes, I mean, people spill coffee, red wine, everything else on carpets that cannot come out and has to be replaced. And if somebody's taking care of their animals the proper way, then it's limited if they're taking care of their animals, but people aren't even given a chance because of and this is why I started the channel, because, as you know, the unrealistic things that you see on TV, there's no one way or the other. It's an extreme one way or the other. And I wanted to represent the middle ground. People that actually do take care of their pets, but have a realistic home.
Mm-hmm. And there are various organizations, nonprofit organizations that are now, actually, I just saw one. I can look it up on my phone while we're talking. I just sat in on a webinar the other day where there's it's a recovery facility and also like a homeless shelter in Florida. And the really cool thing about it.
Oh, Camilla's house.
Camilla, yes, I told you about that one. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. The really cool the really cool thing about it is that they actually have a kennel for pets.
And that's what I wanted to get into next, is the idea of, and I don't know if people know this or not, but there are homeless shelters out there that do actually house in-house animal shelters as well. So that if you end up homeless, there's not a lot of them, because I've kind of looked around for them and there's just not a lot. I think it's a new thing. Hopefully that's something that catches on, because people can now go into shelters and they can actually have their pets there too, housed in a shelter as well. And they don't got to be separated, which, being from Minnesota, let me tell you, there are many, many people in Minnesota that are homeless in the wintertime with a pet. They refuse to go to a shelter because it would mean having to surrender their pet. And they have died in the wintertime in that brutal cold because they would rather do that than have to surrender their pet, which I know to some people you're going to say that's kind of counterproductive, but people don't want to be without their pets. And I get it. I mean, I, of all people, get it.
That's a great idea. I'm looking at Catitudes.
I was going to say, Jenna, can we pull Catitudes comment up on screen?
She had quite a few comments, so I'm not quite sure which one you're referring to.
The very last one she did, the one that says they used to have what they called a neuterathon.
There we go.
They used to have what they called a neuterathon here once a year. You could take as many cats as you wanted to be neutered for $10 each. Unfortunately, they'll no longer have this. That's a phenomenal thing. That's phenomenal. That right there, that's what I would consider to be, affordable. And like I've said before, I would rather take my animals, because all my animals have been fixed through a SNAP program, like in Minnesota, it was called MinSNAP. But I've done that because, number one, it's affordable. It was $50 per cat. And not only that, but the people doing the work are students training to be vets, and they're under the supervision of veterinarians. How are they supposed to learn how to do their job in the future to continue to take care of vets or animals if we're not helping them to learn? I would rather do that service and help them learn to be vets and take care of our animals in the future. So that's kind of a two-way win for me. And I think that's a very, very good way to do it.
Yeah. And I can add to that as well, Kim, because here, when Rogue decided he was going to live with me, I had no choice.
We don't have choices when it comes to cats.
Yeah, I didn't get a vote in that one. And plus I had my two friends that are both cat lovers as well. They say, "Oh, you got a cat now." And when this was in 2020. So I don't know about other states, but in Pennsylvania, what happened when they did a shutdown, because I think most states did do shutdowns, but our shutdown involved also shutting down all the spay neuter clinics.
Yep.
So the high volume spay neuter.
Yep, the high volume ones.
So for me, like at that time I had 4 cats. So I had 3 females, outdoor ones. I had 3 females, and then Rogue showed up. So I had 4. I had everything in place. I was working with a rescue. I mean, it took months to coordinate all this.
Yeah.
I had a rescue. I had somebody that did TNR trapping and transportation. I mean, I had everybody on board, and literally like 3 days before these cats were supposed to get done, I'm getting texts back and forth. It's like, well, that one shut down. Now we're going to take them to this other clinic. Well, now that one shut down. So everything shut down. I'm like, what do I do now? Now, keep in mind, everyone, I should have said this. Prior to that, I have had 2 cats in my life. Oh, thank you, Mary Ellen.
Thank you very much, Mary Ellen.
We do appreciate
it. And Linda, I will be getting to your question here in a minute, because I do actually have somewhat of an answer for you, at least in my experience, and I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay. So, I wanted to just have everyone keep in mind that prior to Rogue coming and being involved with the TNR thing, it was a steep learning curve for me, because in my childhood, I only had 2 cats. One was an outdoor cat. And so I'm 57 years old. And back in the day, I don't know how many, what the age demographic is that watches the show.
Back in my day.
Yeah, back in the day, you didn't have, outdoor cats, you did neuter, you did,
Right.
They just hung out. And we were in a rural area.
Yeah.
We didn't, it wasn't.
People didn't do this stuff. They weren't concerned about it then.
All of our indoor animals were spayed and neutered. All of them. Yeah. But the outdoor cat, we didn't have an indoor cat. We had an outdoor cat. Right. And actually, it was my brother's cat, but he didn't take care of it. So I ended up like inheriting the cat. And then the other cat that we had was a stray that came. She had already been spayed, and someone had declawed her. Now, again, this was back, before we knew the devastation that declawing entails.
And I will get to that in a minute now that you brought it up. But I'm gonna let you finish, then I'm gonna get to Linda, and then I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get on the soapbox for a minute.
So so we had her, and that poor cat. I mean, basically, we treated her like a little dog. You didn't know any better,
right?
So this was all new to me, having these cats.
Mm-hmm.
Everything shut down, and we got the stimulus checks, and my friend told me, my friend and her husband are okay financially. She said, we don't really need this. She said, what we're going to do when we get it is we're going to give it to our friends that are struggling. And she said, I want to vet him for you. So that's what she did. So she got him all vetted and vaccinated, and then she got him neutered. Now that was through her own private vet.
Right.
It cost like $300 or so.
Yeah. It's crazy. Right? It's crazy.
And for those of you who have seen the little promos for this live stream where my cats were showcased, Fury and Niffler were 2 that were born outside in the colony, and I ended up, keeping them. And they both were neuter. Okay, so Niffler is the one on the bottom. Just the headshot with the really piercing green eyes. That's Niff. And then up top, the little floof ball laying in his little dish of dirt with his cat grass. That's Fury.
Okay, gotcha. So bottom right is Niffler, and top right is Fury. Okay, gotcha.
Yes, and Rogue is the very
top left, right?
Tuxedo on the other side.
Okay, gotcha.
The top and bottom, and the kitty in the bed is Tora. Tora is one of the community cats. He has some health issues that vets won't see because he's quote feral,
right?
Which he's really not. But we can talk about him later.
Yeah.
But Fury and Niff actually went to a high volume spay neuter clinic through Adams SPCA. They cost me $60 a piece to get them done.
Yep.
And I can tell you that
trained a future vet.
Yeah, and well, actually, the vet that did the surgery, he had worked at the military. He had worked with like the military animals, I guess,
Right.
like I don't know,
Yep.
the dogs or whatever
Yep.
they had. So he had a highly skilled person there. He had like, really bang up degrees from high prestigious colleges. So he was very qualified,
Yeah.
and you get that for $60. But
That's
people,
great.
and the kicker to all that was both Nif and Fury recovered much quicker from that
Yeah.
surgery than Rogue did. Now,
Right.
granted, Rogue was a little bit older. Rogue was 2. These guys were like 6 months. Yeah, I mean, there's kind of factors, but even at that,
Right.
it was still
Right.
like a much,
It's crazy. It's crazy how much
yeah,
it costs to go to the vet clinic these days. It's just it's absolutely insane, because here I'm sitting here thinking, if all the same services are offered through a high volume clinic and it's only $60, then what am I paying for when I go to the vet clinic and I have my cat fixed and it costs me $300? That's just an insane markup as far as I'm concerned. Teresa, in England, we have something called the Cat's Protection. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. Across the pond, y'all are lucky, because you guys got much better, deals when it comes to education and healthcare. America just has things so overpriced for everything. It's insane. So it does not surprise me that they have something that helps out there. Okay, so Linda, you had said something about a cat that's been neutered but still sprays. So we all know Mittens. I'm sure we're all familiar with Mittens. my little resident bully. He is fixed, and he still does that. And it was driving me nuts trying to figure out why he's doing it. So I talked to some people, did some research, whatever, and I finally came to the conclusion that he's doing it in the same spots, and he's doing it seasonally. So the reason why that's important is because I have a crawl space under my house. I don't have a basement, I have a crawl space. So when it gets to start getting cold outside, of course, mice, rats, whatever outside, little squirrels, whatever, they're going to get underneath my house in any little opening they can, and they're going to try to find warmth. And where he does it is right by my, yes, catitude, right by my hot water heater room. Because I have a little closet that has a hot water heater. So my best guess is that what he's doing is he's sniffing out locations under the house, because he can smell it right through the floor. He can smell rodents under there. And so he's marking territory wherever he smells it. So the only option I have is to go through and make sure that underneath my house is completely sealed up to avoid any rodents or anything getting under there. I mean, that's my first step, because that's the most logical thing I can think of. He's not marking because of anybody else, because he's literally the only one that's doing it, as far as I know. I've caught him, and it's always, you guys know that I'm doing the separation thing. So when he's not back in the kitchen area, it's not happening. But when he's back there, it's happening. So I've kind of narrowed it down. So that's where I'm going to start. So Linda, I don't know what kind of situation you have with your house. I don't know if maybe you might have the same situation as I have, if rodents get underneath your house or in between the floors of your house, because they can do that. If you have a basement, they can somehow get in there and get in between your floor and the ceiling of your basement. And then if the cats smell it, they're going to spray. So that's my experience right now. That's where I'm going to start. Feel free. I mean, please do your own research, ask around, ask your vet. They might have other alternate, ideas for you. That's just my situation. So hopefully that helps at least give you a starting point of where to look. I don't know. So, but thank you for the question. I appreciate that.
I can actually add to that, Kim. I don't
Yeah.
mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I can actually add to that, Linda, because I had an issue. I had similar issue with Rogue. So but okay. So first of all, Rogue the vet estimated him to be about 2 years old. So he hadn't been neutered when he was still intact at 2 years old. He also it could be that your cat has a dominant personality. Because Rogue is a very dominant Tom. He rules the roost. He's like, his nickname is the mayor of Cat Town, because he's like very much, he runs that colony, even though he's not even in the colony anymore. He still goes outside and he goes to the other male cats and he tells them off. So that's number one. Number two is, it's also, even though they get neutered and those hormone levels go down, it's a behavioral thing. It's a
It can
learned
be.
behavior. It's a learned behavior as well with the marking. And like
Right.
Kim said, it also can be like certain smells that they have
Yep.
as a threat they're going to mark. What I found that worked for me is, and I know, and I should also, I know someone that runs a cat rescue, and she literally has like 100 cats in her house, like free roaming. So she has to be careful when she gets cats that she comes to hold cats overnight to go to get spayed and neutered. And then when they come back, like I had to hold one for a couple of days, because if that cat was put in with her group, the other males would spray, because it's a dominant thing.
Yep.
So what I found that works, at least for me, is there's a product. I think it's Nature's Miracle. I'm pretty sure Nature's Miracle makes it, but it's called Spray No More.
Yep.
And if you find that the trick is, it's called an enzymatic cleaner. So the enzymatic cleaner actually breaks up that odor, because that's why you don't want to use, people use, just regular household cleaners. They use soap, water.
And it's not going to work. You have to have an enzyme cleaner in order to break down the urine and the smell. Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It'll just cover it up. They can still smell it. Their scent capacity is so fine tuned compared to what we have.
Yeah, you can't fool them with some Febreze. You can't do it.
Yeah,
not going to work. No. Linda actually commented after we started talking. She said that she has a trailer home, so it does make sense. Yes, that makes absolute sense. And she also said, I feed stray cats that come to the door. Well, honey, I'm going to tell you something. And this one, I'm gonna there is a video that I found, because when I was researching this, I found this. Jackson Galaxy actually does have a video out there dealing with this as well. And he touches on the fact that when you have ferals outside your house, if you're feeding them close to the house and your cats can see them through the window or smell them when they're spraying, because they are going to spray. I used to live in a trailer park too, so I know how the ferals act. If they're spraying on the skirt of your trailer, your cats are going to smell that, and they are going to spray too, because they want to reclaim their territory. So my suggestion is, feed the feral cats, feed the cat colony. I'm not saying not to, but find a way to draw them away from your trailer, and put them somewhere put some distance between your trailer and where you're feeding them, so that it might cut down on them actually coming near your trailer and spraying. It might help. Like I said, do your own research, look on some things. I'm just giving you somewhere to start. But yeah, definitely check out some of Jackson Galaxy's videos, because he does touch on that, and he does point out the fact that if you're having ferals come up to your home, it's going to affect your cats. So you want to just create some distance there. Larry, my cat Larry peed on my bed. That's, I'm so sorry. What's a good way to discipline a cat? My son pushes his nose in it. That is not going to help. No. And I'm going to say that's not going to help. And I'm going to tell you why. Cats don't understand things a certain way. If you use, let's just say you do what you're doing, you put their nose in it, they don't understand things like a dog does. That's not going to help. Get a spray bottle. All you're doing is creating fear in that cat of the spray bottle and whatever's attached to the spray bottle, which is you. So now the cat's going to be afraid of you and the spray bottle, not of what it's doing. So you need to find a way to keep them, because as soon as you leave the room, and you can tell me that they're not all you want to, but as soon as you leave the room and that threat of the spray bottle and you is no longer there, they're going to continue to do what they were doing when you're absent. So yeah, bye, Mary Ellen. Thank you for coming. I just want to say, just please don't try to do things like yell at the cat or spray the bottle with the cat. It doesn't work. That doesn't work for dogs either. Dogs have their own personality and their own ideas too. You're right. Yeah. So spray bottles and stuff are not going to work. If you want to keep a cat away from a thing, they make these little aerosol cans. They're kind of like those little timed fragrance cans that you can put on your wall. But what these are, they're motion detector ones. They've got motion sensors on them. So every time the cat comes near that area, this thing will push out a puff of air. It's just air. It's not going to hurt the cat. But then even in your absence, the minute they go near that area, it's going to puff that air, scare them away. So it's a constant deterrent. Instead of you being the bad guy, this now removes you from being the bad guy. So yeah, so hopefully that helps you with that. But yeah, it's not going to help if you just get mad at the cat.
Yeah, and can I add too?
I just wanted Mike just said something that's pretty
Okay.
kind of important. Hang on. You just lost Mike, you lost a cat yesterday, honey. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's so sad. I'm so sorry for your loss. That's awful. And I hope you find some peace with it. And I hope it wasn't too tragic, I guess. I'm so sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah, okay. I just want, and yes, yeah, I'm sorry too, Mike Mechanic. I'm sorry for your loss as well. That's never, it's hard to even hear.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to address like the cat that peed on the bed. First of all, the first thing, if the cat is eliminating anywhere other than the litter box, there's a problem. So the first thing you might want to do is, if you can do it, if you have the capacity to do it, take the cat to the vet and just get the cat a checkup and see what's happening. If you have other cats in the house, the cat might be bullied. There might not be enough litter boxes for them. It might be because usually cats will, when they pee, they're peeing in the bed, and you think about the bed is where your scent is concentrated.
Yeah.
So there's some kind of issue, insecurity, something going on. And that's actually they're actually coming to you. They're coming there because that's where your scent is. That's where they feel comforted. So
they may have some separation anxiety too. And that might be why they're doing it.
Exactly. Something's going on that if it's not like, cause usually and that's just like not my expertise, just the general information that I've always heard is go check with the vet first.
Right. And, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, if it's not medical, then start looking at what's going on behaviorally or what's going on in the house that might be stressing out the cat. Like Kim said, it could be a separation thing. You never know.
Even with Bagheera, with the bully situation I have around here, one of the first things I did was I brought Bagheera to the vet because I know sometimes when there's a bully situation, the cats usually can sense things that you can't as a human. And I was concerned that maybe they were sensing something on him, maybe something wrong with him, that they were picking him out because there was medically something wrong with him. So that was the first thing I did, was I took Bagheera in to make sure that he had no medical problems that they could sense and I couldn't. And he's perfectly fine. So that's where I started. So yes, always start with the vet, find out that if there's any medical reason for what they're doing, and then go from there. Now, as I promised, I'm going to get on a soapbox real quick, because I am shocked at how many people don't know what cat declawing is. I'm gonna guess that most of the people in this chat probably do, but for those of you watching this in the future or whatever else, I'm gonna educate you here. We have a tendency as humans to relate things to what we understand. Our fingernails grow to the cuticles. Okay, great. So if we were denailed, we would just have them remove the fingernail and cauterize the nail bed so it wouldn't grow back, correct? Right. So people assume that that's what they do for the cats. That is not the case. It is not cat declawing. You have to understand that a cat's nails grow out of the bone. That's where it comes from. And so therefore, what cat declawing is, the medical term is a partial toe amputation. What they do is they amputate the toes equivalent to taking our fingers off right here, every one of them. If you've ever, yes, knuckles, that's right, Linda. If you've ever looked it up, which I suggest you do, it's not something pretty, but it's something that people need to see because they need to be educated as to what it is. In fact, it is so inhumane that New York has now banned it.
I think Kim just froze. Jenna, are you on?
Okay, I'm on. Sorry.
There you go.
Yes, I'm okay as well. Kim just, it was just,
you all right, I'm making sure I was just mine. Okay.
You're good.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Thank you.
Just so everybody knows, I'm trying to do this stream off my phone, so I apologize. But yeah, look it up, be educated. They're tough pictures to look at, but definitely look it up so that you know what they're actually doing to your animal when you bring them in, because if they called it a partial toe amputation, nobody would do it. But New York banned it, and I'm hoping the rest of the states follow suit. Whitley's World says California's trying to ban decline. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. That's awesome news. I'm very, very, very happy about that.
I think Maryland declined.
I think I just
I think Maryland has a ban too on declawing.
I hope so.
I believe they do.
Excuse me, Kim. Were we
Yes.
going to did Wanda talk about her stray cat colony?
Oh yeah,
Did
you
she
want to show
wanna
some
talk
pictures
about
and talk
that?
about your stray cat?
Because we shared her cats, but we didn't share the colony that she's caring for.
Yep. You want we share a couple pictures? Want to go ahead and let them know about the cat colony?
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about TNR.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just so you know, Wanda, I didn't get a chance to tell you this earlier. We do have about half an hour left because Jenna does have another engagement that she's got to take care of today. So just so you know.
Okay. So as I was saying, like in 2020, I got involved with something called TNR. So for those of you who aren't familiar with TNR is trap, neuter, return. The idea behind TNR is to keep the colonies to keep the colonies stable and to keep the population of cats from growing by spaying and neutering. And as the cats get older and they die off, they are not replaced by kittens because the cats have been spayed and neutered. The part about spaying, the TNR actually, I always say TNR-CM. So trap, neuter, return -CM, which is colony management. The colony management isn't talked about very often. So can we go back to the first one, the first slide? There, okay. So I'm going to walk you through the process. So the first thing is to start a TNR thing. First of all, you have to start feeding the cats on a regular schedule so they get used to these. So they get used to being fed. Once they get used to being fed, I know this is going to sound a little weird, but once they get used to being fed, then you want to withhold food for a day so they get really hungry. And that's when you set the trap. So we have live traps here. The one on the upper left corner with the green blanket thing, that's a live trap. That's usually what we use. The one next to it is actually a drop trap for cats that are really trap savvy. The drop trap is basically, you see the food underneath. Somebody actually has to stand several feet away and hold a string, and when the cat gets underneath to eat the food, you pull that string, the trap drops down and catches the cats. And then there's a opening on the other side of that trap so that you can actually get the cat into a live trap, so then you can take the cat to get spayed or neutered.
And this is the method that we use with Daisy Bree.
Yes. Yeah. So on the bottom pictures on the left-hand side, that's Tora. That is the cat that you saw laying in the bed in the other picture. That was the day that he was trapped. And next to him is my cat Fury. And the floofy little kitten was a foster that had been born in the colony, and I was taking care of her till she could get into rescue. So we can go to the next one.
Wanda, just so you know, Marsa's here. So if you want to say hi quick.
Oh, hi, Marsa. Marsa, we just plugged your program. So okay, so let's the two top pictures. The little kitten
are adorable.
Yeah, I named her, of course she probably got renamed, but while she was with me, her name was Elsa. On the left hand side, well, actually the pictures are kind of reversed. So on the right hand side, this is, and I included these pictures because I want people, I've had comments from people in the past where they have said things like, well, you know, I don't really want to spay and neuter the cats. Just let them do their own thing. They, you know, they're outdoors. They're kind of like wild animals. Why don't we just let nature take its course? Well, this is why we intervene, because that picture on the right-hand side is of Elsa. This is not uncommon. Many of these kittens have upper respiratory infections and other infections. Her eyes were literally glued shut with goop. She couldn't see. Her fur was all matted. She's a long-haired cat. Her fur was all matted. She was thin. And her mother, you'll see her mother later. Her mother's one of the colony cats that still stays, and she's one of my favorites. Lucy is the mother. So then back onto the right side, that's Elsa after she's been treated, after she was being treated for several days with an antibiotic ointment and some other antibiotics. She had had a bath. She had had some flea treatment. And then you saw in the last picture, you saw the end result of her with Fury. The two pictures on the bottom are just simply, these are
cat houses, right?
They're cat houses, and they're really easy to make.
And those are just storage boxes, right?
It's right. It's just they're just plastic storage bins that you could get anywhere, Walmart, Home Depot, anywhere. You can get them
at thrift stores, and you can actually, if you walk into a thrift store and tell them that you want a couple, if they have a couple of these bins that they're just getting rid of, or they're not interested, you can sometimes actually get thrift stores to just give you a couple of these boxes, especially if you tell them what you're using it for.
Yeah, definitely. And what they do is they then get a styrofoam cooler and put that inside of that bin, and then add straw. Always do straw, because
straw, not hay.
Right, because hay will actually pull in the moisture, and you don't want that.
And it will mold.
You want straw, and it will mold. That's
right.
Straw
doesn't mold. That's right. And the mold will make the cats sick. And just so everybody knows, upper respiratory infections in cats, they're not like in us. They can literally kill the cats. I found that out the hard way. So just so everybody knows, if your cat does have an upper respiratory infection, please make sure you're taking them to the vet and have them seen, so that things do not get out of hand. And there's a comment here I just want to say, OTJB, if that's the case, yes, do not give up on calling. If they don't do anything the first time, you call them over and over and over again until they're ready to make a harassment order against you. But you do everything you can to make sure that person is reported. So thank you for being proactive in that. I appreciate it.
Okay. So these are all colony cats. The cat, actually, these are all colony cats and a possum, because
a possum. Where's the possum? Oh, I didn't even notice the possum in the top picture.
Yes,
that is so cute.
When you feed cats, sometimes you will get other things that aren't cats showing up. The cats don't seem to care. The possum doesn't seem to care. So I don't really care. It's not a problem for me.
Possums are not the violent rodents that people seem to think they are. They are so gentle and so sweet. They're marsupials. I know that's what everybody thinks. They're just these rodents. It's like they're not rodents.
Yeah.
They're very nice. They're very friendly with other animals, as you can see.
Yeah.
Jenna or Wanda, either one of you guys ever heard of NFG joints?
No.
Neither have I, but somebody was just asking about it. They have a kitten that was. Oh, Marcia, thank you so much. Marcia's a new member of the channel. Thank you so much, Marcia. That means so much to me. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia. Welcome.
Thanks, Marcia.
Catitude, you have a possum. Catitude has a possum, you guys.
Oh.
I knew I liked you, girl. Yes, Linda, possums are a little scary looking, but they are so gentle and so sweet. And this is my favorite picture now, Wanda.
So we had, can we just go back to the last one a minute? Because I wanted to, I think it was Tora in that one. We go back to the last collage, Jenna. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to point out. So the cat in the picture with the possum, that's Lucy. She was the mother of the little fluffy kitten. The cat on the other side, that is Tora. Tora actually has a condition called pillowfoot or pododermatitis. So what happens is it's a inflammatory condition. So his feet will sometimes get really swollen. They'll be cracked. They'll be bleeding. Before he would even let me get near him, he used to walk around limping with bloody footprints. And I tried to get our local SPCA to help. And they said, no, we don't deal with that. We don't treat outdoor cats. Like, okay.
Okay.
So I had to figure out a way to treat him, and I did with the help of some rescue. So he now basically he'll come inside. He's not real comfortable inside, so he usually sleeps outside my door on a little bed. But he's very friendly. I call him my biggie boy. Um, the cat beneath him is Lawless. She is Fury's mother. Lucy is actually Niffler's mother. And then the bottom picture on the left-hand side is all of them. I think all of them are in there.
It's so cute.
And
It's so awesome that you have this whole colony of cats and you have names for them and they all know where they can go to get food and everything. Real quick before we go to the next one, OTJB, what's a sign of a respiratory infection? Anytime that you hear rattling, like if you hold the cat up to you and you can hear in their chest rattling, just the same with us. And if they have a runny nose or if they have any kind of mucus, like green stuff coming out of their eyes or nose, those are signs. Those are signs. I'm sure that's not all the signs, but those are the most obvious ones. You see something like that happening that won't go away after a day or two, definitely bring them to the vet. Good question. Go ahead.
Okay, we can go to the next collage.
Yes, Mike, they have matching pumpkin hats. Tell me that's not the cutest thing you've ever seen.
So I thought in honor of, well, we missed Halloween, so we have November's also pumpkin month. So I had to include these. Of course, you can tell by the expressions that they were, okay, Mom, just make it quick. I generally don't dress my cats up for that reason, but I can resist with that one. The cat next to me and Fury, that is my girl Lucy.
So cute.
And funny story, Kim and I have both have her original name was Lucifer, only because she was very dominant when I didn't know that she was a she at that point, and she would just whack, she'd smack, she was wham, smacking the other cats away from the food.
Just the evil little brat sometimes.
So I said, your name's Lucifer. And then when I found out that and then I started just saying Lucy as a nickname, and turned out as a female. And Kim has
so yours started out as Lucifer and turned into Lucy. Yeah. I have a Lucifer that started out as a Lucy.
Yeah.
We thought that was pretty funny when we figured that out. Hi Jamie, welcome to the stream. Glad you're here.
Yeah. And then the rogue, of course, is on the top with the pumpkin hat. He's this is so degrading. I'm the mayor.
They're like, hurry up and take your picture so we can get this done.
Yeah. And next was the orange cat. That orange cat, that's one of the newer colonies that. And I saw someone in the comment that is keeping their cat intact, and I can't tell you. I can't tell you what to do, but I would strongly encourage doing some research on that. I'm not gonna sit here and shame anybody. I'm just
no.
That,
if you have a purpose, like you want to breed the cat for, because you would like to have kittens and more cats, and then you want to do it, that's fine. Do what you're gonna do. Do your own thing as long as the cat's safe. Just please don't let the cat go running outside, because it's gonna create more of a feral population that's already too big for people to handle at this point. So yeah.
We have one last slide here, Wanda, that I put together for you.
Okay, so these are, of course, there's Lucy in, this is, I wanted to include this one because, I'm in a situation, I'm in an apartment, the plastic bin houses were first okay, and then suddenly they weren't okay because I have a neighbor that can be a jerk. And just to keep the peace, I was told I couldn't have them there. Okay, so whatever. So then I had to find another solution because it's cold. And I did some research on YouTube, and I came up with, you can take a cardboard box, like you can see on at the bottom of that collage. You can get some insulating material. You can even use the insulated bags that come from Amazon, the cushy bags when they send you something breakable. You can just cut them up, tape them up to the box like you see on the picture above that, and then cover all of that with a heavy duty contractor trash bag and stuff it with some straw. I also have the self-warming mats that you don't have to plug in. There's no electricity with them, but they're on top of
Like
the
the
stall.
ones I just got and I did the
Like,
video on.
right. And it works out really well for them.
Yeah.
So then the picture at the very top, that is my car. That is one of the newer members that he has not been neutered yet. That is Theon. And people who are familiar with Game of Thrones will understand the inside joke on that. But that is Theon. And then at the very bottom, we have the cat, the kitty eating. That is Mushu, and the
So
one next
cute.
door
Oh my
is
gosh,
Yum
so
Yum.
cute.
There was a third sibling
Okay.
that in fact I found the third sibling
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
That one had actually unfortunately, that one had got its head stuck in a plastic cup looking for food and had passed when I found it, which is really sad because if it had just walked across the street, it would have had food because I put food by my car. And then a neighbor alerted me that there were two others, so I spent a lot of hours trying to lure them in. I do have a rescue that might be taking them. They're still young. They're only like maybe 8 months old. I think they haven't been spayed neutered either yet, because right now we are really overwhelmed with cats, quite honestly. And a lot of the problem stems from our local SPCA. They have gone no kill, which is actually limited admission. And
Yes.
to keep their save rates high, they have made the decision not to accept stray cats. It doesn't matter if they're a friendly stray. They just consider all stray cats as feral, which that's probably a whole other show, Kim.
Yeah. And
but
very quickly, I'm just gonna relate this in the best way I possibly can for those of you that think that no kill shelters are just this great idea, which in theory they are. But I'm just gonna let you know, it's like Yale University. They have a very high success rate because they're very selective about who they let in. They only let the ones that they think are going to succeed in. So therefore, their success rate in the end is really high. Same thing with no-kill shelters. They would rather have empty cages than to take in animals they don't think will be adopted, and that keeps their rate high, that keeps their adoption rate high, and therefore, yes, in turn, they are a no-kill shelter. But the trade-off is they don't accept all animals. So just be careful about those when you're looking into no-kill shelters, and do your research when it comes to that. The reason why I wanted to go over her cat colony is there's a big reason. Well, one of the big reasons, because I think she's a wonderful lady that's doing wonderful work, and she's working her butt off to take care of these cats and whatever. But it's also the point of she doesn't have an individual house. She lives in basically an apartment and what townhouses, and she's still doing what she's doing. She's finding ways. So I kind of wanted to get the point across that everybody can do something if you really want to do it. There's always a way to do everything, and to take care of the feral cat populations out there, and to try to ensure that they don't keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Just do everything you can. Just be mindful. Always check with the professional, a vet, anything that's in your local area, and just be educated when you guys do these things, and just take care of what you can take care of. Don't take on more than you can take care of, though. Eunice, half of the cats outside are abandoned when people move, not feral. No, you're right. You are absolutely right, Eunice. There's a lot of people that I can't tell you the number of stories that I know of people just walking out of a house and leaving their animals, whether it be a cat or a dog or guinea pigs, whatever else. It's awful. How can anyone just abandon a pet? That's my question.
I was just going to say, I think it's even higher than half.
Oh, probably. Yeah. And how can anyone just abandon a pet? I don't know. Listen, you are asking the wrong two people here, because I mean, I have answers, but they wouldn't be appropriate right now. They're just not good people. They're really not. And
well, I want to just jump in there a minute, because I'm abandoning an animal is wrong. Okay.
Right.
But I think we also have to be mindful that the system that we live in does not help. So sometimes people, for example, our local SPCA, they have a policy when you want to surrender an animal, even for a gerbil, and I kid you not, for a gerbil, for a little animal, it's $25.
Yeah.
So
you got to pay to surrender an animal. That's just
and if you the rescues won't take the animal. I mean, I know there are people that, and I am not saying that this is good, appropriate. I am not saying that you should ever abandon an animal.
No.
And I'm not promoting that. Please do not take what I'm saying as that, because that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that to label everyone bad because they abandon an animal, sometimes people feel like they have no choice.
No, you're right.
And
that's a very small percentage.
There are people that there are people that are like, oh, I can't deal with the cat hair anymore. Bye, Fluffy. There are people.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Those. Too many cats, too few owners happens constantly in trailer parks. No, Linda, you're absolutely right. Like I said, I used to live in a trailer park, and that was. I've never seen so many feral cats in my life as when I lived in a trailer park. For some reason, that's just where they are. Problem is short supply of affordable housing that are pet friendly. You're absolutely right too. And that's, we live in a broken system, unfortunately. I mean, it's broken everywhere you turn, and there's not going to be one solution that fits all. There's just not, and obviously we're not going to sit here and we're not going to solve all of the world's problems in this little live stream either. We're just trying to just communicate, bring some, education to people, bring some subjects up. Hopefully it gets people talking, because that's how changes get made. So I don't know. Are we going to change the world? No. But you know what? I'm going to do my best to put it in motion so that someday it does change.
Well, and what, the people that I'm seeing in chat, and there are quite a few that are saying, that are talking about the housing issue.
Uh-huh.
You can get involved with this. You can use your voice on any platform. Yep. You can call your legislator.
Yep.
You can call your legislator and say, why isn't there some kind of, there's a bill right now, and I don't know I will just tell you what I know about it. It's called the PUP Act. PUPP, PUP Act. Mm-hmm. I can't remember offhand I'd have to look it up on my phone. I know we have a time constraint here.
Yep.
But the PUP Act is Congressman, I think his first name is Jason, his last name is Crow. He's a veteran. And this is a act that would give money to housing providers as an incentive to make their units pet friendly.
Yep.
So there is a big push in the co-sheltering movement, and I would encourage you to look online and
yep.
Google co-sheltering and see how you can get involved with that. Yep. You're also, you're welcome to reach out to me or through Kim. I'm just gonna throw this out here, Kim, and this is your live stream. I'm not trying to take this over, but
no, you're fine.
if the chat is enjoying these kind of discussions and you want to have these on a regular basis, let Kim know. I'm happy to sit in. And have these discussions.
Yep. I just know, I just wanted to do this with you, Wanda, because you are such a passionate person. You are such a wonderful lady. You just have such a big heart. And I have absolutely fallen in love with you in the short time that we've known each other and the communication we've had, which lately has been like almost every day. And I love talking to you, and the knowledge that I've gotten just in the short time that I've known you has been amazing. So I wanted to just bring you on because I thought, it'd be nice to just open up this line of communication, just get people talking. Like I said, that's the only way change can happen is if you get people talking and you start bringing the problems to the forefront. I have an online lady friend that lived in an apartment in California. The management company changed and evicted her for feeding, spay and neutering the cats on the property. I don't have any words for that. I just don't. That's just, I don't understand how, what happened. I don't know. It's a whole nother subject, but I just don't think it's right for any kind of housing properties to change policy and make it retroactive like that. If you are currently there, you really need to just grandfather people in. Fine, for future residents, great. But when you change a policy like that, that's awful, and you're just adding to the problem. Very informative, Wanda Kim. Thank you so much, Linda. I am so glad that you guys all joined us today. I am going to get this wrapped up though, because I know that Jenna's got some things going on. But I do want to do one thing that we didn't do before. Jenna, how much would you hate me if I asked you to pop on screen real quick?
Oh, I don't mind.
Okay,
Real quick.
Okay.
Are you going to?
Are you going to expect me to multitask? I want everyone to see the beautiful, beautiful lady behind the voice. This is Jenna, everyone. This is my producer. This is my friend. And I thought it was about time that everybody got to meet you. Yes. And right at the end, right at the finish line, look at that, Jenna. Karen's here. Karen.
Oh, Karen. Hi, Karen.
Thank you so much for jumping in here. I was worried we weren't going to see it today, but you managed to squeeze in there at the end.
Hi, Karen.
We have cat protection organizations here. Our vets do adoptions, and here we have a curfew on cats. Nice. Okay, good. Karen, listen, you do a lot of good work out there in Australia, and the fact that you're here right now tells me that you are just, you are a wonderful lady. Thank you so much. I'm glad that Jenna was able to just jump on stream. Wanda, thank you so much for being here and talking with me today. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you,
we're going to wrap
everybody.
this up. Yeah, thank you, everybody who showed up. You guys are awesome. You guys are wonderful. We will be doing we'll be doing our next live stream on the 26th. So everybody mark your calendars. We're going to be doing our Thanksgiving / my birthday celebration. And yeah, we have a couple things planned for you guys. That should be a lot of fun, but it'll be on the 26th. At what do we decide on, Jenna? 3 o'clock again?
I'll have to, I think we made a post about it. Yeah, yep. It was either 2 or 3 p.m. Eastern time,
one of the two. But yep, I think we have one reminder up, and we'll be putting up more announcements for that just to remind you guys as it comes up. But yeah, so Wanda, thank you so much, my dear.
Thank you for having me on.
It's been beautiful sitting here chatting with you guys and chatting with all the chat. So all that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining us on our live stream. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And Wanda, are you ready to do this with me this time?
Yes, I am.
Great. I love it. Go ahead. Yeah, Sagittarius, Linda. All right. Well, we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.